Good morning, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez. We are live this morning with the Wise Morning Coffee Chat Show. I feel like I haven't been on here forever. It's been, I think I missed a week, right? So I'm like trying to get back in the rhythm. So good morning. We have Mary Yee as our co-host today. Mari couldn't make it today, and then we have our special guest today, Anna. So I'm super excited. They can introduce themselves and say who they are. So if you're jumping on, say good morning. My name is Jennifer Sanchez. Este es el show en Spanglish, pero voy a hablar yo más inglés que español. Las demás pueden hablar más español que inglés. But I am the show host and the founder of the Women's Institute of Self-Development and Efficacy. This show is about empowerment for women, and we just like to highlight women from our community. So we're super excited. So that is who I am. Mary, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Mary Yee, and even though my last name is Asian, soy toda hispana. I am Mexican American, and I am one of the WISE coaches. I'm also a health and fitness coach, and a mom, and other things goes on and on. But I'm so honored to be here, Jen. Thanks for having me on.
Yay, thank you for stepping in. I appreciate it. And of course, we have our guest, Anna. We're super excited. So Anna, go ahead, introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, well, hi everybody. I'm Ana Santa Cruz. I am Mexican. I came to the States 15 years ago by mistake. I applied for a PhD program, and for mistake, I applied for the MD PhD program. So I ended up in New York doing an MD PhD. So after that, my idea was never stay here, but then I got a very good offer from Harvard, and nobody say no to Harvard. So I moved to Boston, and 15 years, and I'm still here.
Wow, you are amazing. We love it. We love, and I love you said I'm Mexican.
Yeah, well, born, raised, and everything in Mexican, exported to here by mistake.
By mistake, I doubt that. I think you were here for a purpose, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's go into, and for those that are watching, you let us know where you're watching from, where you at, and let's go into, of course, our favorite part of the show, coffee time. So this is the part of the show where we kind of just go around. It's supposed to be like a cup of coffee, like we're just pochichando, like they say, or hablando, or how they say charlando. There's so many words that people say for just talking and hanging out over a cup of coffee, right? So Anna, you can go first. Let us know what you're drinking this morning.
I'm drinking a disgusting protein shake with peaches.
Protein shake with peaches. Did you go for a run
It's
this
not very
morning?
coffee-y, but I add half a cup of an espresso.
Nice. Did you just go for a run? Because I know you run every day.
I went for a run this morning because I'm on call tonight, so I don't know if I'm going to make it back home today. So I went out like at 5.
Wow, amazing.
And
And
with
how
this
many
weather,
miles?
if I'm not out at 5, I don't go out. It's just way too hot and too humid.
Too hot and humid. How many miles, if we can ask, just so
I
we can
put
get
10.
10 miles. 10 miles during the week. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm on marathon training right now. I'm running a marathon, a very interesting marathon at the end of August in South Dakota. It's called Leading Ladies Marathon. It's only girls. It's organized by an ex-Miss South Dakota who was tired of being seen like just like a cute, pretty girl. So she decided to put a marathon for females of all sizes. So the marathon doesn't have a time You could start before, and it doesn't have a time limit, so they stay there until the last girl finish. And
Wow.
it's quite funny. So I'm on marathon training. That is why it's so much miles.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you're amazing, Anna. We
Yeah, it is a
definitely
very interesting marathon. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's similar to our initiative that we can talk about later. So we're excited to learn more. Mary, what are you drinking?
I am drinking my coffee with almond creamer.
Oh,
So just a
nice.
teaspoon of almond creamer in about this much coffee, this much creamer. So
Nice,
just to
nice.
add some.
Some flavor to your life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have no clue what I'm drinking, you guys. I just know that it's in my mom's coffee pot. So I just said, oh, I know they make coffee. Let me just grab it. I want to say it's Folgers. I'm assuming, but I don't know, or a Costco brand because I know they love Costco over here. So that's what I'm drinking, black coffee, and I stole her cup. I did steal her cup. I was like, I'm taking it. She believed she could, so she studied her ass off, and she did it 2021. Many might of you might have known my mom just went back to school and graduated with her bachelor, so that was one of her gifts. So she's like, "Don't break it." I'm like, "Mom, I'm not gonna break it. Like, I'm just gonna use it for the show. Like, we'll be fine." But
She'll be getting yours
you know
for
how moms
soon.
are. Moms,
Te va a
right?
comprar
Yeah,
uno para ti.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm waiting for. So we have good morning, Angelica, the amazing pie lady. She's on with us. So super excited to have her with us. And then of course, Nara, good morning, beauties. She is a new mommy. Super excited to have you guys on watching with us. So um, let's go into our topics, ladies. So we have a lot of great conversations that we're going to be talking about. So I think we can definitely talk about, let's start with Mexican food. Um, the reason why I chose this topic is because Ana, I know she's a big foodie. I just noticed like as we engage, I've seen a lot of like hardcore Mexican dishes that she talks about eating, and she's big on eating carbs. And me and Anna, you and me have actually had conversations about like beans are good, rice is good, especially for runners, right? So, um, I thought, let's talk about Mexican food because there's so many different ways of making Mexican food. And you posted something that I thought was really interesting was the post about how there's so many Mexicans in the restaurant industry, right? So I said, let's just have a conversation around that, see where it goes. So, uh, Anna, tell us, what do you love to eat when it comes to Mexican food?
Um, I eat everything. So Mexican food is super rich in all ways. And I mean, you could go and for example, more in Chicago, you could go from a super fancy restaurant in River North to the taquerias in Little Village, and all the food is amazing. And not only that, something that a lot of people don't take account is that for the type of food that is eating. For example, the tortillas. The tortillas for women are amazing because when they are processing the corn, they add different ingredients that push up the level of calcium. So there are many studies in which they show, for example, that Mexican females doesn't have osteoporosis problems. Why? Because the amount of tortillas that they eat.
Wow.
The same with the beans and the same with the rice. So it's even when it's a very bad stereotype that a lot of people think that Mexicans only eat tortillas and beans, actually that mix is perfect because you have carbs and you have a lot of protein in the beans.
Yeah, yeah. Who doesn't love, especially, well, I'm Mexican, right? So who doesn't love a good bowl of beans and tortilla? Like that by itself is awesome.
That's a meal.
Yeah, just with that, and about the article that you say that I paused, they talk about how Americans loves Mexican food, but
Hmm.
they don't love Mexicans. So it's like, why you love their food and their culture, but you don't like them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, right? In that article, it was a famous chef, right? He was kind of talking about the culture, how our food is delicious, how Mexicans pick your food, right? They go to the fields and pick your food, they prepare your food, they give you the food, like and a lot of Americans go to like vacation in Mexico. Like you love the culture, but you don't want us here in the United States, right? Like that is contradicting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like I would, 'cause my husband is Chinese, and we would go into the restaurant, and you'd see in the back that the cooks are Chinese and not Chinese, they're Mexican. And I'm like, so they have the Mexicans cooking the Chinese food. And I guess he never really noticed them. He was like, oh, yeah. And now my even daughter has picked up on that, and she'll be like, so the Mexicans are cooking the food?
Yeah, yeah. And even
Yeah,
in that
that's
article,
also very interesting. That also happens in New York City. You go, usually New York City restaurants, the kitchens are in the basements of the restaurants, the same as the restrooms. So you go to the restrooms, and it's an Italian restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, any restaurant, and you could hear the banda music, like the quebraditas and
Hmm.
that kind of stuff, and everyone in the kitchen is Mexican. It's like, okay, now I know why the
yeah.
food is so good.
Yeah, yeah. It was the chef is Anthony Bourdain, right? Is
Yeah.
that how you pronounce his name? So I know I posted it a couple of days ago if anyone wants to read his post. But you're right. I went when I used to do more social media marketing for companies before I focused more on the women's organization. I remember I would go meet business owners at their restaurants, and one in particular was an Italian restaurant. But I heard the banda. I heard Vicente in the background, and I said, "Oh, those are Mexicans cooking back there."
Yeah.
And my dad, he was in the restaurant industry for years. I mean, I remember, I just remember him coming home with his shirt. He's always been part of banquets, the restaurant industry. Like that's just, usually where our family goes to, if not, another form, that's typical, right?
Yeah, my
So,
Yeah.
mom. Yeah, my mom was also used to work for the Marriott. And she was there till she retired. And a huge Latin community working in the kitchens, to the point where, like, when my brothers started, they didn't really speak Spanish very well, but were forced to learn Spanish real quick because that's what was spoken in the back.
yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Well, then this is a great conversation, you guys. And I'm literally on a farm. Like I'm in a farm. Like if I went outside, I could see fields and like workers. Like I can go and get my grapes. I saw peaches. I saw almonds. I saw all types of
Fresas?
fresas not here, not in Fresno. I
No.
haven't seen them here in Fresno. But when we drove up north towards San Francisco, we did see strawberry, spinach, broccoli. So like all California, we're just like, look at all these vegetables that Mexicans pick. And people don't realize that Mexicans pick for you, immigrants pick this vegetation for you, and you're eating it. You have it because of these families out here. So it's just something good to talk about. So let's go into our next topic, which I think is really important to talk about. Anna and we love to run. Let's talk about running. So we could start with Anna. Anna, how long have you been a runner? How'd you start your running career?
For more than 20 years. I started running because I used to play hockey, field hockey. Me and as rehabilitation, the doctor asked me to just jog on grass, so it was a soft shape, and I like it more than a hockey.
Oh.
And it was very interesting because one day I really prefer running. I will start running. Like a month later, I signed up for my first half marathon. And a month after that, I was running my first marathon.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
So
amazing.
it was like super fast, everything, because I was a biker also. I was biking a lot. So even when the number of miles that I was running every day wasn't as high, spending a lot of hours in the bike, I was very, very fit.
Mm, that's
But
nice.
yeah, that is how I start running. And here,
It's you've been running. I want to say how many, okay, tell our viewers how many marathons have you ran? That's impressive.
I have a 25. And I has been stuck
125.
in 125 since a year. Then the next one was going to be Tokyo, but Tokyo was canceled in February because the bus canceled. Then even when some marathons here in the US started running during the summer, I didn't feel that was responsible for me, for people that volunteers and everybody else. So I decided to don't run anything. But right now, I mean, so I decided to go for a marathon in August.
Nice. Congratulations. I love good morning, ladies. I see people jumping on. Let me make sure I say good morning. We have Elizabeth. She said good morning, ladies. We have Rebecca. She said good morning. And then Angel commented, moms will always see us as kids. Yep, they sure will, right?
Oh yeah,
Always and forever. Oh my God, I had birria.
my mom is like, Mom, of course I'm eating well. If I'm not eating well, I cannot be running.
Yep, that's a good point. That's a good point. And that was something I wanted to ask you because me and you have had this conversation. How many calories? You said per every mile women burn, I think you said 700 calories. How many calories does a woman burn in every mile? Average.
No, for mile, between a 90 and 100 calories per mile.
Okay, 90 and 100 calories. I remember it was something like that.
And it's very interesting. It's better to jog, walk than run. Burn more calories walking or jogging in a slow pace than running
That makes
because
total
you are
sense.
working
Why?
different because you are using different fibers in your muscle.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I get that. I'm a jogger. I don't think I'm a runner. I'm not a fast runner. I'd never ever claimed to be a fast runner. I like to jog and take my time with it as long as I get it done. Mary. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about your running experience.
so when I was a kid, my dad's uncle was one of the first to their to run the Chicago Marathon when it was you didn't have to pay long ago. And I loved the atmosphere. We would go and we would cheer him on. And then growing up, I started volunteering at marathons. Like I would be the one handing out the water, getting it thrown at me because it's not the right drink for them. um,
Wow.
but yeah, so I would do that. And then finally, I started with walkathons. And that's how I started. I started with the most like felt like I was going to die because it wasn't something that I was doing normally. And I remember the people cheering me on at one of the miles, like, come on, you can do it. Because I was like, I am not going to finish this. And it was just the walk. So then later on, work started promoting their own chase runs. So that's how I started running. I'm like, all right, I will run, walk, run, walk, run, walk until I get to the first 5K. Friends had said, let's do the Shamrock. So that's not the 5K, that's the Shamrock.
That's 10,
Oh, that was a
10K.
funny one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that one and I like on a whim was like, all right, let's do it. So like the week before, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I didn't train. And I remember at least getting to mile 3 and like, I got 3 miles in. I'm good. But like towards but yeah, I do enjoy running. I had a temporary leave of running because of my physical impediment, but I'm glad that I'm slowly going to start getting back into running.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that um I enjoy is running also, right? I think for me, running has always been one of those things that I hated. It was like a love-hate relationship at first, like, and then over time it became like, oh, this actually helps me, like, mentally, physically, emotionally, like I can de-stress. And I used to, maybe why I hated running was because I used to play soccer, so I was a sprinter. I just sprinted all the
Mm.
time. So maybe that's why it was like, running. But when I got into long distance running and kind of, taking your time, counting your miles, that was more enjoyable than sprinting. So I had this like misconception of running. I really did. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how it worked until like I threw myself into the marathon. Like, yeah, I'm not a runner, but let me sign up for a marathon and see how it goes. And that's when I started like, oh, this is what running really looks like. And there's a lot of support for runners. Until you get into that realm of running, there's a lot of support out there for runners.
Yes. You'd be amazed from even like the shoe stores. When I went to go buy my first last year, um, they even, when I bought the shoes, they're like, oh, we have a support group. You can sign up. They have runs on certain days. You can go and join them and run along with them. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, it's a whole world. It's a whole world.
Yeah,
Um,
the running
and
community is amazing.
go ahead, Anna. I think there's a delay on my end.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just saying it's very inclusive because you could see from the same store, I don't know, Fleet Flat, and they have global, and it's just like you could feel part of something. It doesn't matter if you are fit or not. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome.
Because I was going to say, a lot of it is because we all start the same. We all start with just putting that one foot in front of the other until we can build up that run to where we are feeling comfortable with it. So everybody knows what that feels like, the struggles.
Totally true. Totally true. And you know what? I think that's why for me that was why the running community was a big deal. Why I started, and that's how we met Anna actually, because we had a run in during COVID 2020. We were started running. Even prior to that, we had small running gatherings. But when we made it official, like our running group, it was actually during COVID. I think we put our first race together because we wanted to run a race together, but nothing was available. Like, right, everything, like nothing, we couldn't join anything because of COVID. So we're like, let's just do our own virtual run. And that's how we kind of just started. And that's how we met Anna. And I remember asking Anna, I was like, Anna, where do you park? And she's like, I don't run, I don't park, I don't drive, I run everywhere. I was like, oh, you're a runner.
Yeah, so she ran to the run and then she
Yeah,
ran.
I mean, I run until I run.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome." Like that's a level I'm impressed with because I could definitely not do that.
She's also helping the earth by not contaminating it with carbon.
Yeah, that's true. She's one less car out there. Exactly. That's a good point. So
Yeah, I'm helping.
so I definitely want to keep talking about running, and Anna actually is gonna help us out. For those that don't know, we're trying to put a actual run next year together. um, where we're gonna try to get working with the city and trying to get an actual space to kind of put together a run. So I know Anna, Mary, we're putting a committee together. So
Yeah.
2022, we're looking forward to like putting a run, a Fat Girls Run event. um and so we're excited about that. Not a virtual run, but an actual run, like all these other runs that you see, turkey trots and all that stuff. Trying to do something similar.
Yeah, that will be amazing.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go into our next topic of conversation. Who has been watching the Olympics?
I was watching the Olympics. We started yesterday morning with the I think my sister-in-law said it's called the Peloton race where they're all on bikes. And the woman, I forgot where she was from. Austria, maybe? She won
Yeah, it's
her
from
first
Austria.
race. Yeah. And she did like 80 something miles in less than 4 hours. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like she's going to cramp up so bad when she gets off that bike.
Nice. How about you, Anna? What are you keeping up with the
I started watching the inauguration feelings to see the stadium completely empty.
Olympics?
It was like, oh, this is sad. I've been keeping on some different sport. I I will be honest, I hate US transmission of the Olympic Games. In
Mm,
whatever sport the US are good, and in the moment that is not there anymore, they very interesting sport that they have not on TV because the Americans are not good, and it's like, come on, people, just give us the chance to see also sports. Uh,
mm.
but yeah, it has been interesting.
Yeah, I think so far I only caught the
It's interesting to see if
go ahead, Anna.
I think she goes.
Did she freeze? Okay, I thought it was me.
it was a delay there or
Oh,
something weird.
Yeah, there's a delay. I'm definitely probably the reason why there's a delay. So um I apologize, but go ahead, Anna. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
saying that it's also interesting to see all of those new sports that I never thought that I was going to see on the list. Street skateboarding. It's quite interesting because I mean, I really I will not consider it a skate. These guys are pretty awesome, and I think it's a way to introduce young people to start watching the Olympic or just out of the routine.
Yeah, that's a good point because
And something very boarding.
Get him outside.
Yeah, no, I was saying that something very interesting about the skateboarding, they are completely breaking all the stereotypes for tattoos and piercings and the hair. It's like, wow, it's nice to see like real people on TV.
Yeah, I love the skateboarding one. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't the typical athlete with the muscles, and because that's what you usually envision are people with muscles and so totally fit, and they were like skinny and they were younger, and I was even happy that Tokyo won. I'm like, oh, they got their home team won, and he like they showed when they interviewed them how they respected the other guys even though they were for different countries and how they're learning from each other, and it really was nice to see that.
nice. So I think that this is a great conversation, the Olympics. I think the first time I started watching the Olympics, I think I was like 12 or 11. I think I was watching like the soccer one. I think it was like, no, I was in fifth grade for sure. And I was just watching the soccer teams. I think that was like the biggest thing in that time, like Mexico against, France and England. So I remember like really focused. The first time I really got introduced to the Olympics was that and gymnastics. Those were like
Mm.
for me my favorite sports. And just I haven't been able to watch. I only saw the rowing one opening on the opening day on Friday or the start of the
Oh,
Olympics.
okay.
I saw the
I saw the
rowing, the
kayaking
kayaking.
one
I
was
saw and it
good.
was cool.
Yeah, to see how much upper strength they need to maneuver around the waves and stuff. That
Yeah,
was
Oh yeah, those kayak people is insane.
yeah. Oh, and I love watching the women that have the hijabs on. The
mm,
rower, I know the rower Iran, she was rowing against the United States, and I think it was the United States then Iran in that sport. And I was like, oh, that looks awesome. So more power to other countries for sure.
yeah. Actually, my sister-in-law said that one of the commentators that they were watching, I don't remember what sport they were saying. They were like, well, these are the Olympians that are going to win. And these are the Olympians that could possibly have an upset and win. And these guys are just participants. And I was like, well, no, because Olympians, they're still there from the country. They are the best of the best from their country. And it was just, I felt that was kind of insulting to the other people. And it just, I felt like he was discrediting all their hard work for it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, just
but I also, no, go ahead.
the fact that they are there, I mean, they should all be treated in the same way.
Right. Still did their work. They put in the efforts. They did their early mornings and late nights, and still they made it. So, but I also noticed that they finished hugging each other. They weren't wearing their masks and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's COVID. And my husband's like, I'm sure they're vaccinated. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, but they're still getting, even with the vaccinations. So I think that's the next topic, right? We're going to talk about the vaccines and the misinformation
Yeah.
on vaccines.
Yeah, I actually, one thing that I know about the Olympians is they put them all together in a village, right? Like
Right.
there's an actual village where they have all the Olympians living together. So you can't, I would assume there's screenings. They've been together for a while. I'm sure they quarantined them before they even got them out there to play the sport, right?
Yeah, they are. But
So I'm hoping that because they kind of like keep them together, maybe that's why they're allowing each other to hug and stuff like that. I'm assuming because I mean they gotta be with each other for a while before they actually play, I would assume.
yeah, but I have heard that some of them are still getting it. They have to pull out from because they've gotten.
Yeah, the point of the vaccine is that the vaccine is not going to prevent you to get it. So,
Right.
so yeah, and I was reading, didn't want to have the vaccine because they thought that that was going to interfere with their endurance. So a lot of them are not vaccinated.
Wow. And I heard that Olympians are very particular about what they put in their bodies.
And that,
Right, because they don't want to make possibly something show up while they're tested, and then they get kicked out for that reason.
yeah, but I mean, a vaccine shouldn't test positive for anything.
Right. That was my thought
Not
process
allowed
too.
to.
I'm like, well, if that's not the same thing as what they would be testing you for.
Yes, exactly. Yes, so no, I think it's just also fear about the vaccine in it.
I think it's a lot of people are scared of the vaccine in general, right?
And I thought it was gonna be like in general, and more this one. I feel with this one, the people that is being more rejective about it. Nobody has been out like explaining in normal human being words were developed so the people really don't understand, and they see on TV a vaccine with RNA and they think that they are going to mute, or it's just really people don't believe it in anything anymore. And that has been a topic community in the last. A lot of these misinformation powerful because between us sometimes we cannot talk with people out of, or we don't low our level, so that background, so they don't understand what we're talking about, and we are not able to explain what we are talking about. So yeah, a lot of misinformation is also a fault for them being able to
So
communicate with the people.
what would you say is the biggest misinformation about it?
The biggest what?
Misinformation of the vaccine.
So I've read about a lot about that the lost their fertility, and that it's a way of the government, a microchip there. So now everybody will know what are you doing, how are you doing it. And I mean, that's impossible. That is just not possible.
Well,
So I think
we're all carrying our phones, so unless you don't have a phone, they don't know.
Yeah, you're tracked more with your phone, right? Like,
yeah, so it's a lot of that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have a phone with you all the time. What else? What else?
I mean, I can just say something, and the next thing I know is Facebook is I just talked about. I'm like,
10 minutes later, you have 10 million apps of products like related with that. Like, seriously? And you
right.
so, and I know there's a delay on my end, but tell us I guess the vaccine, is there a particular vaccine that you recommend? We know that there's false information out there. You're pro-vaccine. Obviously, you're part of the research. You're a doctor. Like you're more around this. So, what would you tell people in regards to the vaccine?
so all the vaccines that are out right now are pretty good. They're pretty much, one is Pfizer and Moderna, that is a piece of the virus RNA. And that is the one that is going to make yours the virus. The other one is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. That is the classic vaccine that is just the virus that is pretty much inoculating you the virus that is kind of dead. So the advantage, and it was a paper actual technology that is the virus one, is that because they are putting the virus, the immune system without getting into your body, because they don't have a pre-made standard of what they need to attack. They know they need to attack this. So probably the people who is having the vaccine with the old technology, they will not need a booster after. Will need a booster. And it has showed that the 6 months. So for example, people like me, that we were in the first round of the vaccines, we got the vaccines in January. So pretty much is I mean, all are pretty good. The vaccines are not going to make you to end up in an EU, and are good and are out. So the people should.
Good point. Good point. And I think that's good knowledge for people, because I think there's a lot of like people say Johnson and Johnson, right? People are afraid of Johnson and Johnson because there's a lot of lawsuits against Johnson and Johnson, and then there's in regards to other products that they've created. And I'm talking about, I think it's the baby powder, right? They've had lawsuits because of their baby powder. So there's already this like fear or mistrust towards this company.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so pharmaceutical companies have different. Johnson pharmaceutical division is completely different that the one that is producing like the baby powder, are completely different divisions. And for example, when you put out a product like a shampoo, different stage of research to put out a drug, you need to and you need to get, and it's open to everybody. So if you want to go and see their numbers, you can do it. It's not close to only scientific.
Okay, that's good to be aware of. And I guess that's probably another issue is people are, they're thinking Johnson and Johnson, um, they're fearful towards it, but you're saying that there's actual evidence that you can reach and learn about when it comes to Johnson and Johnson. They have different visions. Um, so you're saying Johnson and Johnson, they really don't need a booster. It's only the Pfizer and the Moderna, right?
No, they don't.
And why is that again?
Because it's old technology. So the old technology works, and they just attenuate the virus. So they are injecting you the virus attenuated, like the immune response to the body is really to a virus. And because it's the virus with all the machinery, you recognize all kind of different parts of the virus. With the new technology, with the RNA, they are only giving you a small piece of RNA that is getting into your body. You have that small piece, or that small piece is changed, your system is not going to work because it's going to recognize that. And that is, for example, the scare of a lot of people about the new variants are in that part that the vaccine is developed. The vaccine is not work anymore.
So what if you had COVID already? Let's say you already have COVID. You got it before even the vaccine. Um, do you still recommend to, right? Because there's a lot of information about like the antibodies and you've already built resistance around it. If you got it yourself and that your body's already created, it already knows how to fight it off. You as a researcher, a doctor, what is your advice? Do you still get the shot no matter what, even though you've already been introduced to the virus?
Oh yeah, you need a shot. Don't matter. Don't sick. Your body already developed antibodies, but those antibodies are going to decay with the time. So COVID in the first wave on April, and they got COVID again on November. So the fact that you were infected, that doesn't mean die, or that is are not going to start to decrease in a very dramatic way. So it's not recommended after you got sick. You need to wait. The rules say that you should wait between a month and a half after you were clear. But yeah, completely, it's fine to get the vaccine.
Oh, that's
Nice.
good
And
to
if
know.
anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask them. Sorry, Mary.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's good to know because there are people that are out there saying, "Well, I already got it, so I don't need to get a vaccine." I was like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and there is a lot of false information because some things say, well, you have the antibodies for 3 months. Some say 6 months. Some say that there's evidence that you have antibodies for 8 months, right? There's different, I mean, me, myself, famous Google, you research and you look up different articles and you try to hope that it's a credible source that you're like, okay, this seems legit. Then you don't know what's good and what's not good, right?
Exactly, and that's the problem right now. Is so much access to information through the internet. I got a very interesting discussion with a coach during the weekend. He was very afraid of the vaccine, and I was because he was reading a lot of. If you are not in the field, if you don't know exactly how this works, you cannot know good information. I mean, there's something that by common sense you could say like, yeah, this is this is not good. But some others, but it's not really good. And a lot of people has so much access that they start reading and reading and reading and storm of everything there without any regulations.
Yeah, it could be really overwhelming. So I know it has been for me. I know I'm pretty sure there's other people here that's been overwhelming for them as well. Um, so I want to make sure that we wrap up, right? The show. We're coming at the half hour. Is there anything, Mary, that you want to promote and share with the viewers? And then we'll go with Anna, and close off with Anna.
Sure. I have a free group, and in the free group this week we are talking about hydration. We have a 5-day water challenge, and I have the recipes to make your water taste better because a lot of people don't like to drink water, and it's vital, especially right now because it's super hot. And my kid the other day, I was like, you need to drink water. She's like, I drank a cup. I'm like, no. You need more water if you're going to be outside. And so we are, I have a water challenge this week. It's 5 days. It's totally free. If you guys want to just message me, I will gladly enter you into the group. And I also have a new workout program that's coming out. I am with Team Beachbody, and we do have a new program with Mr. Amala Cesar, who is a trainer to the athletes, such as one of the players from the Bucks who just won the NBA Finals. And his program is a 6-day, 45-minute workout. So if you're interested in that, I can get you signed up and into the group.
Nice, nice. Thank you for sharing, Mary. So reach out to her, find her, Mary Yee. I don't know if there's a lot of Mary Yees out there, Mary, but I know that you could search
My
her up.
mother-in-law actually is a Mary Yee.
Oh, pues there we go. Then there is a lot of Mary Yees. And Anna, do you have any final words that you want to share with the viewers or anything that you want to promote?
I mean, if somebody, I do pretty much two things. I work and I run. So if somebody wants to get into running or running a specific or endurance sport, that is completely different than if you go to the gym. It's free to ask. I will be very to run and to eat. Unhealthy for a lot of people, healthy for us. And just to have fun out.
Yeah.
Dying in the hospitals, we are dying again. Please take care and put on the vaccine.
Thank you for sharing, Anna. That's good information, and we appreciate you coming on here and sharing this knowledge with us. And I love the fact that Anna's like, I could eat like, how many calories do you eat a day, Anna?
Oh, I eat a lot of calories. I'm pretty much sure that I'm around 3,000 calories.
3,000 calories, but you burn
But I mean,
probably
for a
majority of
runner,
it.
yeah, but for a runner, our diet is pretty much between 60 and 70% carbs. I'm not saying go and eat the entire pack of bread. It's like rice and beans and chickpeas and quinoa, and of course,
Right, the good carbs.
yeah, and even bad carbs. I mean, it's nothing. On Sunday with 90 degrees, you arrive to your place. Those carbs taste
Yeah. Those are good carbs.
amazing.
Yes, I agree. Those are the best carbs after a run.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. And Mary, thank you for filling in for Mari as well and helping us co host this morning. And thank you, everyone watching. And I apologize for the delay. I'm not in my regular element. So I'm trying to figure it's actually wait, what is it? It's 6:30 in the morning over here. So I'm up early. We're in a different time zone. So you guys have a wonderful day. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out to us. You can always find us on Facebook, or you can find us, right? We have a website, womenselfdevelopment.org. You can follow us on our social media platforms. And then we do have our free Facebook community, the Wise Women Support Group, in addition to other subgroups, the running group, our weight loss group. So our membership as well. We do have a paid membership community. If anyone's interested, we can give you more information about that. So again, thank you so much, ladies, for jumping on with us. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mary. Thank you,
Thank
everyone watching.
Thank you
You
so
guys
you.
much.
have a good one. Bye.
Bye.